Hey guys, Delt here. I haven't seen many solo priest videos out there yet, probably because it's just straight up not a good choice. So I decided to fully level up my priests and solos for when I occasionally wanted to bring it into group content. At first, it was a little bit rough, but I figured out what was working the best for me after a few games. Basically, we're rushing our intelligence to get 2 divine protections, and then grabbing faith next to dispel negative effects on us whenever we cast that same spell. This is specifically to save us from thunderclap flasks, but it's also been useful against cryos on occasion as well. After that, I was trying to build will to get the 100 move speed for 1 second when casting, but that doesn't help us against any of the classes that counter us, honestly. The hardest fight that I was running into was rogues. This is because when you try to kite them, they just get free backstabs, which is more damage than any of our heals do. So instead, I decided that after we got our intelligence and faith breakpoints to build dexterity, stamina, or both. While dexterity doesn't give us a perk, the added move speed definitely helps in fights. And stamina can give us a perk to restore mana, but honestly its main use is just to get more health to take out other classes in melee. With 2 divine protections, and tossing in 1 or 2 divine guidances when we need to heal us up and still deal damage, we can actually make the priest a fairly decent dueler. It's definitely nothing OP though. But as we get better at the game in general, I think priest is just going to also get better because you have 2 3-second immunities, which allows you just to ignore anything that really scares you. DK pulls you, immunity. Fighter whirlwinds, immunity. Swordmaster throws his sword, well, you could just block it with your orb. If you have your staff out, immunity. And that's basically it. That's pretty much all this class has to offer. Just use your fire staff or lightning staff to try to get some poke damage in. You could even use divine guidance for poke, depending on the situation. It does somewhat help sometimes. And then after that, we run into melee and we try to beat people up with our sword. I am using a sword instead of a mace because I wanted more dexterity. I just liked it better, but if you wanted just to build stamina instead, a mace works great. So yeah, from this point on, we're just gonna have a few clips of PvP. I'm just gonna talk over them, and they're really nothing super special. I was playing in casual, trying to both learn the class and level it at the same time. So some of the fights are actually pretty interesting. Some of the other ones are a little not the best. Hope you enjoy. So in this clip, I do have the double divine protection, and we ran into a swordmaster, so I'm just going to try to hit him as much as I can at a range, and then when he comes into melee, we're going to swap to our sword, use divine protection, and then just start swinging. When that ends, we do it again. And that is how a fight should look when you're playing priest. You want to be really careful so that you're not just like getting ambushed by someone behind a door, and you want to be able to start a fight off with range. So you want to be a little bit more careful than playing some other classes like DK or fighter. But once you get that down and you're actually knowing when you're running into a player and you're able to get that range damage off first, it definitely makes a world of a difference. This guy didn't use any of his abilities, which I don't think would have made too much of a difference here. If he used his swords, I would have just blocked it with my orb, or again, divine protection a little bit early. But either way, it worked out. In this clip, I heard another player on the opposite side of this door, and I didn't want him just to be sitting there waiting for me. So as soon as I opened it, I jumped back, got a thunderclap flask ready in case I needed it to slow him down to hit him with my fire staff first. But he wasn't right there, and it was a cryo. I did use divine protection to get rid of the debuff on me because it's going to slow me and continuously do damage. I didn't necessarily need to do that though because I got hit by it again. But cryo is honestly one of the easier fights for a priest. You're able just to out heal the damage from frostbite curse, and then when he thinks you're low, he might push into melee, and at that point you just win with divine protection. I even used it early this fight thinking he was going to go in, and then he backed up. So we won this fight without even using divine protection properly. All right, and here's a second fight against the Swordmaster just to show that this really isn't bad at all. And there's actually 3 different ways that you can use to dodge the swords. The first one is to block it with the Cryo Orb. The second is to block it with Divine Protection. And the third is what you should do if you're able to. Just get behind a wall. The swords will hit the wall. Also, just like I did there, if you think somebody's right behind the doorway, just throw in a Divine Guidance. It'll hit them and deal some damage. And once again, I used Divine Protection too early, thinking he was going to run into melee and try to beat me up, and he just backed up. But it's fine, we'll still beat him anyway. Here is a very long fight against a fighter that actually shouldn't have ended in my favor. I only have 1 Divine Protection here. With that, it makes fighting melee classes very difficult, and you need to be able to kite as well as you can, and I actually messed up here. I hit myself with the Thunderclap when I hit him too, which just put us into a really bad spot, and so I'm going to use the floating boxes to try to lose him there. So when I jump onto this next box, I'm just going to try to body block him so he falls down. This lets us heal up, and then I'm just going to try to hit him as often as I can with Divine Guidance or my Fire Staff or whatever as he repositions. That Thunderclap was a complete accident. I thought I went to my mana potion. And then here there was a little bit of desync. It was a bit weird. And at this point, I know that I'm winning the fight, and I want to continue to hit him with my range damage until I feel more confident to go into melee. But since he's hiding in a corner, we're going to Divine Protection and slow him down and then back up. And now that he's full running down this long hallway, we're going to hit him with our Fire Staff and try to just keep kiting him a tiny bit longer because we don't have Divine Protection up. And now that it's back off cooldown, we can run into melee, use that, and finish off the fight. This definitely isn't the fastest damage dealing class by any means, but if you use your abilities and your cooldowns correctly, you still can win fights. Third parties can also work out in your favor a lot of the time. I attempted to thunderclap both of them, but I only hit one, and he's taking a ton of damage from the cryo, so I'm just going to focus on the cryo so that they're both low, and then finish off the cryo and take on the other guy. And we did that without using Divine Protection, so we know that this other guy's low, and we're just going to run in Divine Protection and fight him. I did panic, and I didn't have my sword out, but it's okay. We have 2 Divine Protections. We're going to be fine. I think here I just ran away and let the Grim Reaper reset and then came back and looted. These guys didn't really have the most, but I wanted to throw it in there because if you can kill one person in a third party without using Divine Protections, you're good to go to take on the other player too. All right, and we're gonna fight a rogue here, and I actually messed up this first time, and I'm gonna show you why and how I messed up, and then we're gonna fight him again and show you how you're actually supposed to do it. Sadly, I missed my first thunderclap, and I tried to apply pressure anyway. He hits me with this crossbow, and I go to back up, and I just get stuck on some rubble, and he petrifies me. That's fine. We're just gonna heal on up. All right, I'm trying to apply pressure to range here, but here's the mistake. He runs into melee, and instead of me divine protectioning and just attacking, I try to back up, I get hit with a backstab, and I almost die. If it wasn't for the goblins here, I was dead to rights. There's no way I should have survived this. I messed up. He won the fight. But thanks to the goblins, I was able to reset, go back in, and do it correctly next time. It took me a minute to find him at first, so I just clipped that. And again, the entire point of fighting a rogue and the entire point of this build is just to be able to beat them in melee with divine protection. If you try to run away, they are going to kill you. If they get into melee, just fight them. Do not kite. You will die. Backstab hurts. And once again in this fight too, I was expecting this guy to keep staying aggro and keep staying on me. And so I immediately divine protectioned out of petrify, and he backed up. So since I used the divine protection, I'm just going to keep pushing. I should be winning at this point, and I think I'm fine to win the fight. So I'm just going to do that, and it works out. And this guy also didn't have much gear on, and that just shows how strong rogues are against priests in general. Just know that you are not kiting them. You are not going to get away from them. Just fight them. It's your best option. Alright, and here's me dying to a rogue before I figured that out. And it's also where we're going to be ending the video. So if you enjoyed the content, please just give it a comment, a like, or subscribe to the channel. Anything and everything helps, and I really do appreciate each and every one of you who do it. Also, if you're wanting to join a community of people who like Dark and Darker and Dungeonborne and other video games like it, I'm going to have my Discord link in the description below. Feel free to click that, come by, and say hey. I also stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from about 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. roughly. Sometimes it's a little later, sometimes it's a little earlier, and sometimes we just go for longer. So if you're wanting to join me in any of those streams or ask any questions, I'm going to have my Twitch link down in the description below, just under the Discord one. I hope to see you there, and I hope to see you guys on my next video. Have a great day. Peace. Yeah, no, I just heard a goblin die. Not Dobby, but he gave Master a sock. Alright, so there is somebody. Do I want to jump down for it? That seems a little questionable. Can I go around somehow? This way? Run right into a road? Yep. Press Q, please. I hit myself with that, I'm dead. I'm so sad.